Hey, what is up, ghouls, gamers, and goblins? PotatoBagel here. This is gonna be kind of a weirdly necessary video that I wanted to make. You probably saw the title and are scratching your head thinking, what the hell is he on about? But just hear me out. Some of the design choices in the set of Space-Time Smackdown, as in the set as a whole, not necessarily these specific cards, feels like a net negative for the game. I don't really know how to put it other than it just feels rushed. And that's kind of the point I want to make here. So let's just take a minute and ask ourselves, what went wrong with Space-Time Smackdown? Now, before we take the deep dive, let's figure out what went right. And that answer is simple: new cards. The excitement of ripping open new packs and seeing what cards you get, filling out the collection, is always exciting for a lot of people. So, regardless of what cards we got, people would be excited and be happy. And with these new cards, there's new decks, new strategies, people share these ideas, and boom, the game is alive again. Not that it was dead to begin with, but you know what I mean. But the thing is, that's the bare minimum. And I think therein lies the problem. The developers need to do very little to keep the game alive, and sometimes I wonder how little they need to implement in order for us to be happy. I know this sounds like a crazy statement, and somebody's probably going to play night for the developers, but it's true. Major updates like adding new packs cause a peak in the player count, and after a while, the numbers may dwindle, then eventually settle. This is especially for the case for actual matches, because outside of emblem events or new solo matches, I don't even actually participate in matches all that often, and that's very much the case for a lot of people too. I open my packs for the day, and that's really it. Part of it is because I haven't pulled anything cool out of my Palkia packs, but the other part of it is that there's very few decks that legitimately interest me. For me, I feel that the decks I would be interested in make use of cards that simply do not exist. Which sounds stupid and like duh, but it's true. This set feels like it's missing a lot of cards. I know that sounds weird, especially since there's over 150 cards that, for the most part, are actually usable. And looking at the numbers, Space-Time Smackdown actually offers more cards per pack than Genetic Apex did. Genetic Apex offered us 286 cards across 3 packs, about 95 per pack, whereas Space-Time Smackdown gave us 207 cards between 2 packs, about 103 cards per pack. Which means that the content per pack should be higher, but it's actually not. You see, STS gave us 155 Diamond Rarity cards compared to the 226 of GA. Using these numbers, the average is actually a lot closer, about the mid 70s for both sets. However, what this means is that those star rarity cards actually pump up that average to create a larger discrepancy, and that is very much the case. There's 52 cards in STS versus GA 60. That is a difference of 8. The diamond cards have a difference of 70. And that's an issue. Like, sorry for every fan of Hippopotas, but that full art card could have easily just been a regular Gallade card. And you know it. And that right there is kind of my main problem with STS. A lot of new cards don't have the variants or the supporters that they need for simple standalone decks. And let me elaborate on this a little. In Genetic Apex, the major grass deck was Venusaur EX. These decks paired it with Lilligant, who up boosted the energy, and occasionally you might see an Exeggutor in there as a wall. With those cards, plus Erica, grass decks were focused around heal stalling. As most of the grass cards required a lot of energy to function. Exeggutor needed it to retreat, and most of the other ones needed it to attack. With the release of Mythical Island, and Superior specifically, that hindrance of high energy wasn't a problem anymore. Now grass cards need very little energy because its value was doubled thanks to Superior. As a themed booster pack, Mythical Island offered up additional support to boost those cards. Now, we have a new set and a new grass deck to work with. Well, and new grass cards to work with. And an excuse to push, the grass type in a different direction. After all, it's not just the grass types that are grass cards. It's the bug types too. And hey, wait a minute. We got a new bug EX. Wow, and it seems pretty aggressive too. I mean, its energy curve is a little off, but it's an EX, so that makes sense. Let's check its non-EX version just for a comparison, and oh wait, it doesn't have one. Maybe it has a supporter then to help with that energy problem? I mean, this set is Sinnoh based after all. You know, maybe Aaron is a card. Oh, he's not? Then what's the point? Like, they gave us a new Grassy X card, one that doesn't need Superior or Lilligant for, you know, a long term energy boost. And yet they gave us nothing to go with it? Like, really? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad Yanmega uses colorless energy because it can slot into other decks, but like, come on. Pair it with Vespiquen and you can have a bug themed deck. I mean, the idea is right there. And with a lot of these supporters, you know, belonging to Team Galactic, we didn't necessarily need the gym leaders like Genetic Apex gave us, but the Elite Four would have been cool. You know, as I mentioned, Aaron, obviously, he could attach an energy to Vespiquen and Yanmega. Bertha could let you, you know, pull a card from the top three cards of your discard pile, you know, specifically those top three cards that Rhyperior discards. Flint could attach fire energy to Pokemon that don't really need multiple turns of powering up from Moltres, such as Infernape or Magmortar. And Lucent could, actually, I don't know, but you get the point. I understand that STS isn't the base set of Volume A or whatever they call it, and it certainly didn't need to be as big as GA, but its design philosophy was kind of all over the place. I understand that we needed, you know, metal support and EXs for certain types, but I feel like this set could have substantiated itself a little bit more. You know, I look at this set as a whole, and it feels like there are holes that need to be filled in, and it just makes the set feel rushed. I don't know. Obviously, you know, based on the performance, the whole I feel like this whole premise is a non-issue. Obviously, people are still happy with the game. There's lots of content being generated. And, you know, it's just like it's a non-issue, but I'm a fan of no EX decks. And I would love for that to be, you know, like an in-game rule set for matches. And so it's just kind of weird that we don't have non-EX versions of the EX cards except for Darkrai and Cresselia. And you know, I kind of, you know, I don't obviously I don't want the game to underdeliver its own potential. It's new and there's a lot of stuff that the devs need to work on. And you know, I'm trying not to be too hypercritical, but these choices just kind of weird me out and irk me a little. And it's not something I want more of. Like even with Mythical Island, we got Celebi EX, yet there's no regular Celebi card. And that's still kind of weird to me. And like I hope this premise makes sense. Like it's obviously not my intention to be overtly negative or argumentative. I just want to generate discussion and you know, I hope this point comes across. And anyways, like leave a comment, let me know what you think. And as always, stay frothy.